Most gardeners will walk into a garden center this May and spend money they didn't need to. The plants that would have saved them that money are already out there seeding themselves into gardens for free. There are 15 plants that, if you get them in the ground this May, will seed themselves, come back, and fill your garden every single year without another cent. But this window doesn't wait. Miss it and you're 12 months behind. I'm giving you all 15 today, and I've saved the most powerful one for last. Subscribe, drop your growing zone in the comments, and let's go. Number 15. Forget-me-not. Forget-me-not is one of the most reliable self-seeders in existence. Once you have it, you always will. In May, it's scattering thousands of tiny seeds across your soil. The golden detail: those seeds need light to germinate. Don't bury them. Scatter on bare, raked soil and let rain do the rest. Forget-me-not thrives across Usta zones 3 through 8. Zones 9 or 10. Treat it as a cool season plant in late fall. It prefers part shade to full sun and moist, humus-rich soil. The one thing nobody mentions: pull out about a third of your plants once they go leggy in early summer. That pressures the remaining plants into producing more seeds. And next spring, you'll have denser coverage. Number 14. Sweet William. Sweet William is technically a biennial, but because it self-seeds so aggressively, it behaves like a perennial. Plant it once, it never leaves. May is ideal to sow directly. Soil is warm enough for fast germination, sprouts in 7 to 14 days, but serious heat hasn't arrived. Usta zones 3 through 9. It's drought tolerant once established and actually performs better in slightly lean soil. Overly rich beds produce lush, soft foliage with weak, floppy stems and fewer flowers. Golden tip: Sweet William crosses freely with other dianthus species. Grow different varieties close together and the self-seeded offspring will be brand new color combinations. Unpredictable, beautiful, completely free, full sun to light shade. Good drainage is non-negotiable. The flowers are edible, mildly spicy, faintly clove-like. Toss them in salads. Number 13. Rose campion. If there's a plant that punches above its weight visually, it's rose campion. Shocking magenta flowers against silver-gray, velvety foliage. It stops people mid-stride. Short-lived perennial, usually 2 to 3 years, but it self-seeds so enthusiastically you'll never lose it. The bigger challenge is controlling where it spreads. Usta zones 4 through 8, one of the most drought-tolerant plants on this list. Poor, dry, gravelly soil, it thrives. Rich, moist soil, it flops. This is a plant for neglected corners. Sow on the surface in May, it needs light for germination. Don't cover the seeds. Once seedlings reach a few inches, thin to 12 to 18 inches apart. Golden information: rose campion is outstandingly deer resistant. The woolly silver foliage is unappealing to deer and rabbits. Full sun preferred, zero maintenance once in the ground. Number 12. Evening primrose. Evening primrose has a superpower almost no other garden plant has. When it opens its flowers in the evening, you can literally watch them unfold in real time. Each flower takes about 30 seconds to open fully. It's a biennial but self-seeds so reliably it behaves like a perennial. Usta zones 4 through 9. Famously adaptable, poor soil, dry conditions, full sun, or partial shade. Sow directly in May on the surface. It doesn't transplant well at all. Thin seedlings to about 6 inches apart. Golden detail: evening primrose seed heads are actively eaten by goldfinches and small songbirds through late fall and winter. Leave the seed heads standing, your garden becomes a natural feeding station. Wildlife value: self-seeding, zero maintenance. Height reaches 4 to 6 feet. Place at the back of borders. Number 11. Love in a mist. The name alone wins. Delicate flowers floating inside a cloud of feathery, thread-like foliage. Technically an annual, but self-seeds so prolifically it earns its place. Sow once in May and your job is done for life. Usta zones 2 through 11, almost any temperate garden. Prefers cooler conditions, so May sowing hits the sweet spot. Direct sow only. It hates transplanting. Scatter seeds on raked bare soil in full sun and press gently. They need soil contact but shouldn't be buried more than 1/8 inch. Golden information: the seed pods are just as decorative as the flowers. Striped, papery, balloon like pods extraordinary in dried arrangements. The trick? Collect a third of the pods for arrangements. Let 2/3 drop and self-seed. Flowers in roughly 8 to 10 weeks from sowing. Number 10. Borage. Borage is one of the most underused plants in gardening. Striking star-shaped blue flowers. One of the truest, rarest blues in the plant world, combined with coarse leaves that smell of cucumber when crushed. It's edible and seeds itself everywhere. Technically an annual, but plant in May and you'll never need to plant it again. Oosta zones 2 through 11. Full sun, average to poor soil, sharp drainage. The worse the soil, the better the flavor for culinary use. Sow directly, it dislikes transplanting. Press seeds about 1/2 inch into soil, space roughly 12 inches apart after thinning. Golden information. Borage is a companion planting superstar near tomatoes and squash. It repels tomato hornworm and attracts predatory insects that keep aphids controlled. Second, the flowers are completely edible with a mild cucumber flavor. Freeze them in ice cubes, float them in lemonade, crystallize them for cake decoration. Bees are obsessed with borage. A single plant can have a dozen bees working it at once. Number 9. California poppy. If you've driven through California in spring, you've seen entire hillsides in orange. This plant self-seeds aggressively and asks almost nothing from the soil. Technically an annual, but one of the most reliably perpetual self-seeders. Sow once in May where you want permanent color. Best suited to Oosta zones 6 through 10. Cooler zones 3 through 5. Sow after last frost. In warm climates, early May is better than late May. It prefers cool soil during germination. Scatter seeds on the surface. Critical mistake? Overwatering. California poppy evolved in drought. Golden information. Most people only grow the classic orange, but name selections exist in cream, yellow, pink, burgundy, and deep red. Plant a mixture, let them cross-pollinate naturally, and over a few seasons, your colony becomes genuinely unique. A dense planting functions as a living mulch, suppressing weeds. Full sun, sandy dry soil, preferred. Number 8. Yarrow. Yarrow is the toughest plant on this list. It tolerates drought, poor soil, full sun or partial shade, neglect, and compacted ground. It feeds bees, butterflies, beetles, and hoverflies simultaneously. It dries beautifully for arrangements and remains attractive through winter. Self-seeds reliably across almost every temperate climate. Oosta zones 3 through 9. Sow on the surface in May. Seeds need light. Don't cover them. Allow 14 to 21 days for germination. Once established, it spreads through seeds and underground rhizomes. Golden information. Yarrow has documented herbal medicine history stretching back thousands of years. Used to slow bleeding in wounds, one of its oldest names is soldier's woundwort. The genus name Achillea comes from the legend that Achilles used it to treat his soldiers' wounds. Yarrow comes in a broader color range than most realize. Pink, red, yellow, apricot, and soft lilac beyond the white wildflower form. Full sun, dry to medium moisture. Avoid rich soil. Excess fertility causes flopping. Number 7. Hollyhock. Hollyhock is the plant of old farmhouses, cottage gardens, and stone walls. There's a romance attached to it almost no other plant carries, and it's one of the easiest self-seeders you'll grow. Short-lived perennial to biennial, but self-seeds so reliably it behaves as a true long-term perennial. Some gardeners report the same colony occupying the same corner for 25 to 30 years. Oosta zones 3 through 9. Tall, 5 to 8 feet common, 10 feet achievable. Plant against walls, fences, or at the back of borders. Sow directly in May, pressing seeds about 1/4 inch deep, space 18 to 24 inches after thinning. Hollyhocks develop long, deep taproots, direct sowing only. Golden information. Hollyhocks are highly susceptible to hollyhock rust, a fungal disease producing orange-brown pustules. The most effective strategy is treating them deliberately as biennials. Fresh seed into a slightly different position each season. This naturally breaks the disease cycle. Self-seeded offspring drift away from infected areas on their own. The flowers are edible, mild flavor, stunning as garnish. Number 6. Purple top vervain. If you've walked through a well-designed garden and noticed tall, wiry stems topped with tiny clusters of purple flowers seemingly suspended in midair, that was purple-top vervain, one of the most architecturally interesting plants you can grow. Almost no leaf mass, just branching stems reaching 4 to 6 feet crowned with flower clusters that move in the faintest breeze. Usta zones 7 through 11 is a true perennial. In zones 5 and 6, a reliably self-seeding annual. It dies back in winter, but returns from seed every spring. Zone for gardeners. Test in a sheltered microclimate. Sow on the surface in May. Seeds need light. Germination can be slow, allow up to 21 days. Golden information. Verbena bonariensis is one of the 5 most significant butterfly plants you can grow. Its deep, narrow flower tubes are specifically accessible to long-tongued butterflies, swallowtails, painted ladies, monarchs. It functions as a specialist feeding resource when many other flowers have finished. Caution: in zones 9 and above in warm, moist conditions, it can become invasive. Deadhead a portion before seeds drop if you need to limit spread. Number 5. Foxglove. Foxglove is one of the most visually breathtaking plants in existence. Tall spires of tubular flowers in white, pink, purple, cream, and deep rose, spotted and freckled inside. Every part of it is toxic to humans, dogs, cats, and horses. Experienced gardeners have grown it for centuries. The key is knowing what it is, handling with gloves, and placing it thoughtfully. Biennial, but a relentless self-seeder. Establish it once, and it doesn't leave. Usta zones 4 through 9 prefers part shade, particularly in hotter zones. Rich, consistently moist, well-drained soil. Sow on the surface in May. Seeds are extremely fine. Mix with dry sand before sowing to distribute evenly. Do not cover. Light required. Golden information. Foxglove is the original botanical source of digitalis, the heart medication in clinical use for over 200 years. The same chemistry that makes it toxic makes it medically significant. Deer and rabbits instinctively avoid it. Height 3 to 5 feet. Always plant toward the back or mid-border. Number 4. Bee balm. Bee balm earns its name completely. Bold, shaggy flower heads in red, pink, white, or lavender become a magnet for bees and hummingbirds. A true perennial spreading through rhizomes and self-seeding. In good conditions, one plant becomes a vigorous colony in 3 to 4 seasons. Usta zones 3 through 9. Native to North America, deeply suited to your ecosystem. Sow on the surface in May. Seeds need light. Alternatively, divide established plants in spring. Divisions establish and flower faster. Space 18 to 24 inches apart. Golden information. Bee balm is in the mint family. Leaves carry a strong, complex fragrance between oregano and citrus. The Oswego people brewed them as medicinal and ceremonial tea, historically known as Oswego tea. Critical note: highly susceptible to powdery mildew in humid climates. Choose mildew-resistant varieties: Jacob Klein, Raspberry Wine, and Marshall's Delight. Number 3. Columbine. Columbine is the shapeshifter of the self-seeding world. Grow multiple varieties together and the offspring cross to produce entirely new color combinations. After 3 to 4 years, you'll have flowers nobody sells in any catalog. Nodding heads with long backward projecting spurs, petals layered in contrasting colors, nothing looks quite like it. True perennial. Usta zones 3 through 9. Shade and partial shade. One of the few plants here that genuinely prefers shade. Under a canopy, along north-facing borders, between hostas. Sow on the surface in May. Germination technique. Place seeds in a damp paper towel, seal in a Ziploc bag, and refrigerate 3 to 4 weeks before sowing. Cold stratification mimics winter dormancy and dramatically improves germination. Golden information. Columbine seeds are toxic if consumed in significant quantity. Ecologically, it's a critical host plant for the Columbine dusky-winged butterfly. Caterpillars feed exclusively on Aquilegia foliage. No Columbine dusky-wing. Height 18 to 36 inches. Number 2. Black-eyed Susan. Black-eyed Susan is the sunflower's wild, lower-maintenance cousin. Deep golden yellow petals surrounding a raised, dark central cone. It blooms for weeks, attracts almost everything that flies, and when flowers finish, the seed heads feed birds through autumn and winter. True perennial. Usta zones 3 through 9. Native to North America. Among the most ecologically significant wildflowers, over 17 species of native bees specifically documented foraging on Rudbeckia. Sow on the surface in May. Seeds need light. Press gently. Don't bury. Germination. in 7 to 21 days. Thin to 12 to 18 inches. Golden information. Frequently misidentified at garden centers, confused with Gloriosa daisy and Helenium. Field identification. Leaves and stems are distinctly rough and hairy, almost sandpapery. Leave seed heads standing through winter. Watching goldfinches work through dried black-eyed Susan heads is one of the most satisfying moments a garden gives you. Full sun, medium to dry soil. Number 1. Purple coneflower. If I could keep only one plant from this list, it would be this. Purple coneflower is what a near-perfect garden plant looks like. Native to North American prairies, hardy Usta zones 3 through 9. Drought-tolerant, deer-resistant, long-blooming. Often 8 to 10 continuous weeks from midsummer into fall. Medicinally significant, ecologically essential. Broad daisy like rose pink to purple petals sweeping back from a raised, spiky bronze-orange central cone. Sow on the surface of raked soil in May. Seeds need light, no covering. Colder zones. Cold stratification improves results. Damp paper towel, Ziploc bag, 4 weeks in the refrigerator. Without stratification, germination can take 21 to 30 days. Thin to 18 to 24 inches. Lives 5 to 10 years. Spreads by self-seeding and crown division. Golden information. Over 30 species of native bees and more than 20 butterflies forage on purple coneflower. Seed heads are the primary winter food for goldfinches. Leave them standing. Echinacea extracts are among the top herbal supplements for immune support. And here's what stops gardeners cold. Year 1. Builds roots. Year 2 flowers modestly. Year 3 expands with dozens of blooms and begins self-seeding. By years 4 and 5, you have a colony feeding wildlife from July through January untouched. It's not just a plant, it's an investment that compounds. Quick summary: dry, poor soil, rose campion, California poppy, yarrow; shade, Columbine, forget-me-not, foxglove; wildlife, purple coneflower, black-eyed Susan, bee balm, borage; heightened drama, hollyhock, foxglove, evening primrose; colder zones 3 and 4, purple coneflower, yarrow, black-eyed Susan, Columbine, forget-me-not. One final point: don't tidy too early. Deadheading in autumn, raking bare and heavy mulch removes seeds and covers the soil they need. Leave seed heads. Leave bare patches. Let these plants do what they're designed to do, then step back and watch. Hit subscribe for practical garden content every week. Drop a comment. Which of these 15 are you planting first? See you in the next one.